What's up, y'all? Sean G. Sunday. What's today? The 6th? Sunday the 6th? I think it's the 6th. 2025. Welcome to the channel. Please give this video a thumbs up and share this video with somebody who you are discussing the Diddy trial with. One thing that was uncovered during the Diddy trial, or my man Puffy's trial, that had been rumored long time ago. The rumors had started, but one thing that was revealed and uncovered is that Puffy is not a rat. He's not a snitch. He's not an informant. And he did not cooperate with the federal government. Ever. None of that came out in trial. This being the case, he is not going to receive any type of compassion, leniency, freedom to reign, freedom to move. He's not going to receive any assistance or help from the feds. Aside from the fact that they didn't give him bail for this Mann Act charge, 2 counts, which they are not going to run consecutively at sentencing. They are going to run them concurrent. They're going to take both of those counts. If Cassie's count even stands up, because the 5-year statute of limitation has run out on her Mann Act, right? And the only reason that they were able to charge the Mann Act on Cassie, I believe, I could be wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, go in the comment section, is because the RICO allowed, it was a predicate offense under the RICO, and it allowed the government to stretch back 10 years to bring everything that went on with Cassie into the indictment because of the RICO. But Puffy was acquitted of RICO, so that's no longer an issue. So he may only have 1 count when it goes to sentencing. But even if he does have 2 counts or 1 count, the sentence is going to be the same. And it's going to be according to the federal sentencing guidelines. No matter how much the prosecution, the Southern District of New York, Maureen Comey, no matter what they say, all they can do is ask the judge to go outside of the guideline range to the upside. As I told you already, the base offense level is 14. If they tack on coercion and fraud, they can raise them 4 points to make it a level 18. Violence, I don't think there was any violence, right? There was, somebody said they can argue for violence. I don't know. If they argue for violence, they could raise it some more points. I don't believe that. Like I said before, Puffy is a first-time offender, has no criminal history, nothing of what he was charged with, the arson, the kidnap, the distribution of narcotics, the weapons, the SEX trafficking, tampering of witness, obstruction. None of that can be brought into the sentencing and be counted in the in the judge's decisions as to what his sentencing is going to be, because he was acquitted of those charges. his jury, a jury of his peers, found him not guilty of those charges. That being the case, they can't be used in his sentencing. Like I told you in my video when I talked about the sentencing, I believe he's going to come in at a base offense level of probably 14, 16, or 18, somewhere in there. No more than 33 months, no less than 15 months, maybe get time served, you never know. If the judge were to give him right at base offense level 14, it would be 15 months. This is what they're gonna go on. I don't care what former prosecutor, what former federal judge, what former U.S. attorney comes on the TV and says the judge don't have to go by the guidelines. Bullshit. In the federal system, you must go by the guidelines. The prosecution can ask for the judge to do an upward departure and go outside of the guidelines and sentence him to more time. This is typically done for people that are career criminals, multiple offenders. This is their second federal conviction. This is their third federal conviction. You know, they've just shown a total disregard to law and are just running around in society as a lawless outlaw. When those people come into court and they have a criminal history of category 3 or category 4 with another serious offense, the judge, the prosecution usually asks for the high end of the range, and the judge at his own discretion can say, you know what, not only am I going to give you the high end of the range, I'm going to go outside the guideline range and above the high end of the range and give you an upward departure and give you more time than what the prosecution is asking me to do. That's what those are referred to. Conversely, on the flip side of the coin, Puffy's legal team, a very powerful man, is on Puffy's legal team. Mark Agnifilo, who was the head, the chief of the New Jersey Federal Prosecutor's Office. He was the man over the New Jersey Federal Prosecutor's Office. You can look him up, look up his bio. He's connected in the Southern District of New York, in New Jersey, in the Eastern District of New York, in Brooklyn. He is well known and well respected, and he just beat the Southern District of New York in a racketeering case. He knows many people in the Southern District of New York, high-ranking people, politicians, senators, congressmen, maybe all the way up to the Oval Office. He's a very respected man, not to be played with. Same thing with Tenny Garagos. So for someone to just assume that Mark Agnifilo and his accolades and his name and his reputation is just going to be overlooked and default by the prosecution, you're out of your mind. That man's got respect and he's got power too. And he won. He prevailed. He won. And he is going to go into the sentencing and say, Your Honor, as the defense, as the lead defense attorney, I ask that you do a downward departure and go outside of the guideline range of 15 months and give Mr. Combs time served. That's what he's going to ask. The prosecution is going to ask way up here, and the defense is going to ask way down here. That's how it works. Mark Agnifilo is going to detail and highlight and add color to the fact that this is Puffy's first offense. that he has no criminal history, that he was just acquitted of 2 very serious charges, and he was acquitted by a jury of his peers, Your Honor. The Maureen Comey didn't acquit him. None of the other assistant U.S. attorneys acquitted him. I didn't acquit him, Your Honor, as his attorney. A jury, native New Yorkers, a jury of his peers acquitted him. They gave him his life back, and we need to honor what the jury said. That's what Mark Agnifilo is going to argue, and he's going to say, Your Honor, as a result of that, Mr. Combs needs to be released today. Time served. We will accept whatever probation that needs to go down. Whatever bail conditions or well, it wouldn't be bail conditions. Whatever probation conditions that are assigned to Mr. Combs, he will follow them. If you want him to do house arrest or whatever the case may be, Your Honor, Mr. Combs is willing to do whatever you say. And that's how he will be sentenced. No different. The judge does not, in a federal court, does not get to just decide at his own discretion, I'm going to sentence you to whatever I want to sentence you. And if Judge Submaranian were to do that and come back with some ridiculous sentence for Puffy, you best believe that he will be before some judicial review board, maybe even some Senate hearings on the Hill in Washington, D.C., and he will have to explain why he decided to go outside of the guideline range to the upside and give this man whatever time he gives over and above what the guideline range is. Now, Puffy did not cooperate. If Puffy was an informant or a rat, or he had been cooperating, or if he gave up some names, he would be out of prison already, because that's what they do. I give you some information, you let me go. Some of you guys have been asking me to juxtapose and compare this trial, Puffy's trial, to Michael Jeffries, who was the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, who was being charged with SEX trafficking and prostitution by a combination of force, fraud, and coercion. Same charges Puffy had. And you're saying, well, because he's white, he got bail. I don't know that to be true. You understand? I don't know that to be true. What very well may be going on with the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, he may be cooperating, because it's 3 of them. It's Michael Jeffries, Matthew Smith, and James Jacobson. All of them charged with SEX trafficking and engaging in interstate prostitution. They're being prosecuted in Long Island, a 16-count indictment. The indictment alleges between 2008 and 2015, Jeffrey, Smith, and Jacobson used a combination of force, fraud, and coercion to traffic men while operating a prostitution enterprise. All 3 defendants were arrested this morning. Jeffries and Smith are scheduled to make their initial appearance this afternoon in federal court in the Southern District of Florida, and Jacobs is scheduled to make his initial appearance this afternoon in federal court in St. Paul, Minnesota. They will be arraigned in the Eastern District of New York at a later date. So they're going to get prosecuted in Brooklyn. I'm probably going to have to cover that trial. So, all of y'all saying, he's not being held on bail because they said his lawyers claim dementia or mental health illness or something. which very well may be true, but I believe that all three of those guys are cooperating because they know they're going to go to federal prison. I wouldn't be surprised if they even didn't do something to themselves to end themselves, because if they go to a federal prison, them guys with those charges, I think some of the kids were 16 years old. Was anybody 16 or were they 19? I'm gonna get the indictment. They're not gonna last. You know, they're not gonna last. They're not gonna last if they go to the joint. But that's what I wanted to say. Puffy is not a rat. Puffy is not a snitch. So they're not gonna help him, right? And shout out to Puff for not ratting, for not cooperating, for not being a snitch, for standing on your square and rubbing it on your chest like a man. You know, integrity never went out of style, right? You do something, you get busted, take it. Take it, you know? You chose to do something wrong, you take it when it comes. You don't take a mistake you made and blame and get some other people involved and injure children and grandmothers and aunts and grandfathers and fathers that had nothing to do with it, and you cause stress in their life. You never have no good luck that way. You have good luck by being accountable for what it is that you do and standing on your square and being a man amongst men. That's the way that it goes. So just wanted to go over this Puffy sentencing one more time. Shout out to my man Ken Lightning. He wanted me to, you know, put the two cases together. Most likely all three of them dudes is ratting out already because they're scared to death for going to prison. They are, I would bet 91% to 9% that they ratting. So they're gonna get special treatment. When you rat and when you cooperate and when you're an informant, you sign a 5K1, you do third-party agreements, third-party cooperation, Rule 35Bs and safety valves, you get help from the prosecution. When you don't help them, they don't help you. That's the way it goes in the federal system. Sean G. Peace.